break, we asked Worcestershire is home to the world's smallest what? Museum, theatre, roundabout. It's the smallest theatre in the world. I wonder if we got a picture of it, because it used to be a Victorian toilet.
Oh,
and look at that. I don't believe it's the smallest in the world. There must be another smaller one.
They're doing a lot with old toilets nowadays. Theatres, nightclubs,
when
bars,
I said the word theatre,
restaurants.
Stella yawned. That worries me.
I'm really sorry, yeah.
That's okay. you did a massive one.
I thought I could get away, and then you
No.
have to rat me out.
No, of
Nobody
course I'm
would
going to
know.
rat you. I thought it was on screen. Okay, later no, but it's the mention of theatre.
If I was picking my nose, would you be calling me out?
Yes, I would. You didn't yawn during the sumo. Later, we're asking if doctors are right to go on strike again. They still haven't reached a deal with the government. That's a bad old story. Now, Labour, have you given up? Get your calls in now. 0207 862 2222. I'm going to show you the result of the Caerphilly by-election. You might say, well, it doesn't mean very much. It's a Welsh government election, or the Senedd, as it's called in Wales. But the point about it is that Labour has held this seat at every election since the Senedd was created 26 odd years ago. And it's held the equivalent parliamentary seat at Westminster for over a century. So these results are astonishing. They're absolutely astonishing. And the big winners here are Plaid Cymru, Welsh Independence Party, who've gone to 47%, and they've cleaned up. Reform not far behind, OK? 36% to Nigel Farage's party, from nothing. That's the point. They've come from nothing. But Labour have been really pushed and flattened there into third. We could also mention, we'll make a comparison actually with the last time this was fought, but the Conservatives on 2% is shocking. So the Conservatives 2% this year, last time 17%. Labour won it last time with 46%. And you've seen, look at that, basically, then essentially what's happening is people saying, right, who can we vote in to get Labour out? Let's all go Plaid Cymru. But there may also be an anti-reform vote as well. So Reform were on 2% and now way above that. Here's the guy who won. He's a rather wonderful guy, actually, because he's contested election after election and not won. He's done this one 10 times. He stood in every Senedd election in the last 26 years. We think he stood as a candidate 13 times in total, including for Westminster Parliament. These are the Senedd seats, 60 in total. Caerphilly down in the south of Wales. There it is. It's a one-off caused by the very sad, untimely death of the sitting Labour member, and now that goes green for Plaid Cymru. And there's so much there, Albie, isn't there, to actually have a chew over, because the Conservatives, your party, they
lost their deposit.
Well, they almost got no votes.
I think it was just under 700 votes they got.
It's
I mean, a very
shocking.
small number of votes the Conservative Party got, and I think it's notable how much that's not being talked about this morning. So, I mean, that is a shocking result, but it also just shows the irrelevance of the Conservative Party in some parts of the country. Meanwhile, you've got the Reform Party that's able to win what you might call right-wing votes in parts of the country that the Conservative Party can't win those votes in. They've done very well. But even better, Plaid Cymru, which is a party that maybe a lot of viewers in England and Northern Ireland and Scotland may have never heard of, but it's essentially like the Welsh version of the SNP. And they're a party that believes in Welsh independence. They're quite left-wing. They want Wales, when it becomes independent from the UK, to rejoin the European Union. And they've won.
Wales voted out, of course, didn't it?
Exactly. They did vote out. And what this might signal, actually, which should cause Reform a little bit of concern, is that maybe it indicates that people are tactically voting to keep Reform out. I think this is the first thing we've seen in quite a long time that has slowed down the momentum of the Reform Party.
Yeah, if we could just see a still of that result again. I don't know if we can put it on screen. We'll have a look at that, because you might, Stella, there is something there for Labour, isn't there? Which is that maybe people have said, right, who do I vote for to stop Nigel Farage? And there it is, just to your left, Stella. And they say, right, we're going for Plaid Cymru because they're more likely to stop Reform. What do you think?
So I think that up until now, the Labour Party strategy has been that we're going to tack to the right to gather all of the votes that would normally be going to the Conservative Party, because we think that this is our best shot at getting the most seats under the electoral system that we have. But what we have seen, I think, is that there are a lot more voters who are, one, quite scared of reform, but who share Labour values, and you see that in polling. There are more people who share Labour's values than people who are saying that they will be voting for Labour. And about half of the people who voted for Labour last time are saying they won't do it this time. And about half of that vote are people who are saying they don't know who they will be voting for. Now, these kind of up for grabs votes, I don't think are votes that would ever go to reform. I think that they are votes who will vote strategically, but they are definitely also votes still up for grab for the Labour Party if the Labour Party manages to invest in the sort of thing that people vote Labour for, which is public services, cost of living crisis, the NHS, things that really people feel very strongly about. Immigration, while there are things that absolutely I think the Labour Party should be doing about immigration, our immigration system has been symbolic for a very long time, it's something that you just do the policy. You don't need to have all of that rhetoric all of the time, which just makes people who would vote for Nigel Farage anyway think about you more strongly.
Yeah, I hear you, but it's whether when we look at those numbers, we just say that is terminal. Because you think where Labour were a year ago, they won the biggest majority anyone can ever remember. How have they managed to crash it so fast?
It was a very shallow majority. It was a wide majority, yes, but you know the majorities weren't that huge on each individual seat that was won. I think what's more interesting is the part of the country that this loss has happened in. As you mentioned before, this seat has been held by Labour in Westminster for a century, something like that. This is the first time they've lost that seat. That is Labour losing after a century in this part of Wales, and the Tories losing after a century in parts of the country like Oxfordshire. It shows a complete shift away from the traditional two-party system to something which is a lot more volatile and a lot more unpredictable.
Yeah, I love that we can actually look at this. It's beautiful, isn't it? The old-style graphics are the best, aren't they? Because you can really see what's happened there. Reform 4 or 5 years ago, nothing. Now, you know, in second place, and the Tories going in reverse. But maybe Plaid Cymru are winning because people don't want Nigel Farage's party either. Julie's a better place to analyse this. You're in Torfan, so you're not far away, Julie.
Good morning, all right?
Hey, where are you close to the constituency? Forgive me.
Yeah, not far away. I'm in Cwmcarn.
Oh, yeah, OK. So what do you make of this result?
Well, I'm glad that Labour's finally been pushed out, to be honest with you, because they are absolutely dreadful. They haven't done nothing for Wales.
But they've been in power for so long. I mean, you know, what's amazing about Welsh Labour is that even when Wales lose elections at Westminster, Welsh Labour win in Wales. And it seems like that is now maybe stopping, Julie.
Yes, it should have stopped a long time ago, Jeremy, to be honest with you. But there we go.
Well, I know that. Well, we must have mentioned the 20-mile-an-hour speed limits, which seem to be the biggest single.
Yeah, yeah.
But do you think Plaid Cymru will clean up then, or will it go to reform?
No, Plaid Cymru is just as bad as Labour, to be honest with you. They sort of like go hand in hand.
So the next big elections, when all these seats come up again, and this guy will have to defend his seat, by the way, will be May next year. Do you think it might go reform then?
I hope so, because he's the only one that I feel that the only party that's got any guts. You know, with the immigrations, the state of the roads, potholes, you name it. It's still going on now, see, Jeremy. That's the problem.
But the expectations on reform, Stella.
I think it's so interesting that people are getting this message, and I think it's exactly what I was talking about before. All of the parties are saying we need to reduce immigration drastically, we need to reform the asylum system, we need to do all of these things. And the Home Secretary, the Labour Home Secretary, Shabana Mahmood, is extremely strict on this, to the point where even right-wing tabloid journalists are in favour of her. And yet, the public still think that immigration is the one problem that the main parties do not want to address, which is simply not true at the moment. OK. Julie, thank you. After the break, more calls on this, whether you've given up on Labour. What on earth does that by-election result mean? 020 7862 2222. We'll see you shortly. Before the break, we asked what was spilled on a California highway on Monday, causing traffic jams. Was it maple syrup or milk or blueberries? And it was blueberries. Would you like to see some pictures of this? What a waste of antioxidants.
Yeah, well, we love our blueberries, don't we? Let's have a look at... That looks like a weird...
I wouldn't immediately think that was
strange.
blueberries on a
It looks like
road.
That's so odd.
Are these
I would
seeds,
just
the
wash
seeds
them
of
and put them in the
jam?
yogurt.
They will become jam if it's California and there is the sun.
Yeah.
Sun-dried blueberries.
Yeah. Oh, God, someone's putting all kinds of filters on these photos, haven't they? Blimey. We should ban filters on photos, shouldn't we? It's ridiculous. Nothing's real anymore.
Some of the TikTok filters I see people put on, I do just think, what are you doing?
I know.
What are
I
you
know.
doing?
Well, now I've discovered, I thought, I'm looking good in my selfies. I discovered I had a default face thinner.
Oh, no.
Default face thinner. That's the default.
But your face isn't fat.
Well, it was even thinner. Later.
It wasn't there.
Yeah, well, virtually. Later, we want to know who you would choose to be the next Strictly hosts, obviously not including anyone on the show here. My panel are keen on Alan Carr, who's having a very good traitors. We'll talk about that later as well. Now, your calls on whether you've given up on Labour. It sounds negative, but they are in a shocking state because they've been defeated by the Independent Party of Wales, Independence Party, Plaid Cymru, in the Caerphilly by-election by a long way. Andrew in London, hello.
Hi, good morning.
Is this one where you say it's game over?
Never. I mean, look, Margaret Thatcher had a bad time when she was Prime Minister and she came back. I think it was going to take much longer than 14 months to repair 14 years of damage. And I think we have to be very, very careful what we wish for in this country, because we can just look over the pond and see the chaos and destruction that's going on there. And if we want that over here, that's cool. That's what a democratic society is all about. But this whole focus in on women as well in the Labour Party, and it's just messy. It really is, and it shouldn't be taken seriously.
I missed women in the Labour. What are you talking about? Women in the Labour Party?
I just thought, the other day, concerning the unfortunate, very sad situation with the gangs. You're
talking about Jess Phillips and all that stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, and I just thought that really left me feeling, because I've followed her career, and it just left me feeling that the ladies, they have a point, but the way that it's been framed against her, I just find it very uncomfortable.
I hadn't thought of that as a woman thing. She actually said that the allegations made by the survivors of sexual abuse are false. That was what she said. And I'm thinking, no, you can't say that about someone who's been through that experience as a child. But that she may know she's made a mistake, and I don't think she's going to resign over it.
I don't think she meant to insult them.
I think she didn't. I think you're right.
Andrew. I honestly, I don't think she. I think what happened is, at the dispatch box, she was stating her position, and I think that it was it's like everything that's take. I mean, she's fought for the rights of these women for years.
I know. I won't get too caught up on it, but I do appreciate what you're saying. It's one of those things where you're just reminded that exercising power is complicated and messy at times.
But they're not doing a good job of it. That's the problem. I wanted the Labour Party to succeed, to be honest, but they've done such a bad job. They rose taxes last year. Rachel Thieves is coming back this year to raise taxes even more, and we haven't really noticed that public services has got any better.
Stella?
A lot of these differences are going to take a long time for the public to actually feel them. And that is one big problem, right? Because Keir Starmer from the beginning said, we're just not going to have quick fixes. We're looking at the long term. And
Smash the gangs. How's that going?
Oh, that is actually going rather better, I would say, than other things.
Have you given up on Labour, Stella?
No, absolutely. Never giving up on Labour.
I think you've drifted away from Starmer a bit, though, and that's unusual. I didn't think I'd see that in my lifetime. Andrew, thank you. We've got I feel this clip, I should just say, this is a guy who supported reform in the Caerphilly by-election, and his people have started saying, ooh, this was an interesting little interview. Have a look.
Mr. Farage.
So Mr. Farage isn't standing himself, but Reform are standing here, so you're voting for Reform.
I'll vote for him then.
What do you like about them?
Reform?
Yeah.
Absolutely, Reform.
What policies do you like about them?
He's sorting things out, isn't he? He promises to sort things out. The country's out of control.
In what ways is that out of control?
Fiscal and everything. It's like we're under the heel of the Americans.
And you think Mr. Farage would sort out being under the heel of the Americans?
Well, I hope so.
Is he not one of Donald Trump's best buddies?
Well, he seems to be in bed with Trump. Not in bed with him, but he's popular with Trump. But he's hope, isn't he?
Here we are. He's hope.
That makes me so angry because Nigel Farage, literally, he went to Washington and he talked down our country. He talked badly about the UK in the most unpatriotic way, just to flatter the Americans and Donald Trump. And, you know, we had this Welsh by-election and the former Welsh leader of Reform has said that he had pleaded guilty to accusations that he was paid by the Russians when he was an MEP in the European Parliament.
Oh, yes, Nathan Gill. Nathan Gill.
To forward the Russian line in their war to Ukraine, a literal traitor to our
all of that is true,
interests.
But more people voted for that party than for the Labour Party.
Absolutely, I hear you, but it shows us what kind of Trumpian age we're at, where people just go by the vibes that they're getting from the party rather than an actual policies.
Let's get Dave. Thank you. Did we speak to Dave in Manchester? I think we did. Or we haven't yet. No, sorry, Dave. You're with us now. Hello.
Hello. I've lost faith completely in Labour, and I've lost faith in the Labour Party for the last 25 years. I think there's deep-seated problems within Labour because I think internally they're split between the left and the right, and that's been there for decades. I think that decidedly off message. I think the government ministers, when they speak, you think the opposite. The opposite will happen, or nothing will happen.
That's bad. After 1 year, that is quite bad. Yeah,
Dave.
Yes.
You're in Manchester. Do you like Andy Burnham? Do you think Andy Burnham would be a better leader for the Labour Party and Prime Minister than Keir Starmer?
No. It's Andy Burnham is a style man. He is a money man. The only reason we've got metro mayors up and down the country is because they attract the government funds, and that's the only reason. Within Manchester, to my mind, the Metro Mayor, Andy Burnham, his combined authority lacks teeth.
OK, thank you, Dave. Thank you. Colin in Staffordshire, hi.
Hello.
Have you given up on Labour, or were you never Labour?
No, I've not given up on Labour for a very simple reason. I know what other people have said. I agree very much with your first caller, Andrew, about Labour. But my feeling is that fundamentally, at its heart, the Labour Party believes in fairness. No other party does. Fairness for all. What do the Conservatives believe in? The rich should get richer, the poor should get poorer.
Do you think there's a bit of talk about whether you could take 1% a year off anyone with more than 10 million? Would that be fair?
Yes, of course.
If they've already paid tax on it?
Yeah, no,
okay.
Of course.
So what does fairness mean to you? Does it mean everyone having the same kind of amount of money and houses? And
no, it means everybody having the same crack of the whip.
Right. Yeah.
The same abilities, the same chances in life.
And do you think that Labour are on track to deliver that?
It's going to take a long time to turn the super tanker around after 14 years of Tories.
The funny thing, thank you, Colin. The funny thing about this situation Labour in, raising taxes on people with 10 million is going to raise, it'll get them excited on the Labour backbenches, but it raises so little money. Where you've got to go is for people earning 50, 60,000. That's where you're going to get the money. And that's when it gets really sticky. Doesn't it, Stella?
Yeah, it is. But broad taxation, the good thing with broad taxation is that when you tax a very large number of people, then the burden is equally distributed and nobody is feeling it an unnecessarily big burden. What I would say about the taxation system, and I completely agree with Colin, and this is exactly what I would also never abandon the Labour Party, is that our taxation system is not about equal contribution, it is about equal sacrifice. And this is the reason why, for example, we talk about progressive taxations and doing things like VAT on private schools, because it is essentially a wealth tax. It is essentially a tax on people who can afford to pay more, very obviously, on luxury goods.
OK. Peter in London, last caller on this. Hi, Peter.
Hello there, good morning.
Well, it's a big old by-election, and people saying, "Oh, we're sticking with Labour." There's obviously a lot of people aren't.
I know. I agree with your last caller, actually. I think Labour, I voted for them all my life.
Yeah.
I think they're a party of fairness. The problem is, it's their leader. He needs to go. He needs to be changed. He's
not inspiring enough, or what's the problem?
He's just terrible. He's come in and straight away he's attacked basically the pensioners and the disabled people.
Yeah.
And that has just really got him off to a bad footing.
But they switched it, didn't they? They reversed it. They reversed nearly everything. So
yeah, it's not really good enough, Jeremy. I mean, I've sent an email to my local MP this morning, Catherine West, and I told her I'm delighted about what the Welsh vote has done. And I hope it has a domino effect right across the country. I don't know who personally I'm going to vote for, because it doesn't seem to be anybody really grabbing my attention.
Okay. Thank you, Peter. Thanks for all your calls on this. Wow. Interesting politics and fascinating to watch all the foldback from this by-election. But we'll move on. We'll ask later who should be the next Strictly hosts. And after the break, are the doctors within their right to strike again? Because they're going to walk out for 5 more days next Monday. What do you make of that? 020